Kings, Queens, and in-betweens, welcome back to the City Boys podcast. Last weekend, St. Louis City went to Portland and did not come home with any points. This week, Grayson and I are going to talk about it. We are going to recap the important events in the game, give our points about the match, Kit Clash, everyone's favorite segment, and then preview the LA Galaxy before we get into it all. Grayson, my brother, how are you doing tonight?
What's up, Ethan? What's up, City fam? I'm pretty tired, not gonna lie. I had a long day at work. I told Ethan I hit legs yesterday, so I am super sore. I was on my feet all day, so it's nice to be able to sit down and talk about some soccer. It's a good time. It's a good time. Ethan, how you feeling?
It's another day in paradise, brother. Of course, this is one of our favorite pastimes, sitting down and talking ball. Once again, it is not a super positive result for St. Louis City. It feels kind of like we might be bad luck, Grayson. Ever since we started this show, we have not been exactly on fire. Of course, if you are watching, you may have noticed that we are one host short tonight. Jacob, once again, still scouting the German Bundesliga, might be in Hungary, might be in Austria, somewhere in Eastern Europe. Who knows where Lutz put him on his scouting trip this time? All I know is that Jacob cannot wait to be back and talking more ball with us.
Oh yeah, I know. We miss him. I know you guys miss him. The team misses him. Maybe that's what we need to get a win. We need Jacob back on the pod.
Surely something has to change because St. Louis City once again go out to the Pacific Northwest and our away form continues to struggle. We drop all 3 points on the road to the Portland Timbers. We lose 2-1. Brutal game. In the first half, it felt a little bit positive. The second half, much of the opposite. And yeah, it's brutal. Grayson, you ready to get into this game or do you want to
Yeah,
waffle on
yeah,
anymore?
yeah, yeah. Let's get into this match. Let's talk about it. I think you're covering the lineups this week, yeah?
I will break down the lineup for us because Roman Berkey starts once again in goal. And I'm actually going to do something different. I'm going to talk first about the two starting center backs this week for St. Louis City because Timo Baumgartel and Henry Kessler made the start for St. Louis City this week. Very refreshing stuff. I believe the two started last week, but I know that Will Bratton, Mr. City Views, called them the center back pairing of City's future, and I completely agree. I love this defensive triangle, and I feel so much better when these three are in the game. Jay Reed would get the start at left back, and Thomas Totland returning to full health, getting the start at right back. In the two pivot roles in this 4-2-3-1, we have Alfredo Morales and Akil Watts. A very
Oof.
interesting pair. Yeah, probably not our first string center mids, probably not who we imagined would be starting this deep into the season, but they put in a job. I will give credit where it's due. The three attacking midfielders, Celio Pompeu on the left, Marcel Hartel in the middle, and Simon Betcher would start this match on the right side. Grayson, we've made a lot about the attacking trio in St. Louis City's front four, we'll say. What did you make this week of specifically Simon Betcher starting on the right side?
We've seen him play a couple times on the right wing when we had John Hackworth come in and experiment a lot with the 4-2-3-1. And I was feeling pretty positive about what he could do on the right side last year. This year, he's having a decently slow start to the season, yet to really establish himself as a goal getter again, like he did last season. He's in the right areas. He's got the aggression. He's always making those runs, but it hasn't exactly come off. In this match, it didn't really come off. He did create some important moments in this match,
Mm-hmm.
but ultimately missed a lot of his chances that he did get.
Agreed, Grayson. And before I give my thoughts on Mr. Betcher, Zhao Klaus would round out the starting 11 this week, and we'll get into the subs as we go on with the game a little bit. But personally, I really liked Simon Betcher starting in this lineup because it is exemplary of us wanting to put on that high energy, high press style of soccer. And so Simon Betcher definitely offers that. He has that aggression, the energy, and I think he does complement Zhao Klaus well. The two clearly have great chemistry off the field. And I believe positionally and spacing wise, they complement each other on the field. They definitely fill two different kinds of roles when they play together. But like you said, Grayson, production has been low for our attack in general this season, and it would be very nice for Simon Betcher to hit the back of the net. I think that he thinks that as well. But yeah,
I I do want to give some flowers to the other wing this week, Celio Pompeu. Although he didn't get on the score sheet, he did create a couple of really well-worked chances for the team. But most importantly, the thing I want to highlight is this week his defensive work rate really showed in
yeah, it did.
Portland. He had 7 recoveries, just to like what I was pointing out last season. When he does get to play on the wing with some high pressing style, he does very well to win the ball back for us and just, you know, run at defenders when they're on their back foot, not too confident with the ball.
Mm-hmm.
He'll take a couple interceptions, and we saw it a couple times, a couple turnovers in the final third for Portland that could have been very costly, but
To
you know
Celio's
the
credit,
rest.
he is lightning quick on transition, isn't he? It always feels like he is the outlet option. I think first the ball goes to Klaus to hold up, find a center mid, and then they are looking long for either Celio or Simon on the wings. I feel so confident with Celio out there. But Grayson, I have a question that I want to pose to you and our listeners. Do you think that Celio has cemented a starting position in this St. Louis City lineup?
For me, yes, there's no question to who's going to play left wing. The
Mm,
only other person that can play left wing close to Celio's magnitude is Hartle, and he's busy. So, um, yeah, I'd have to say for me, Celio starts. I don't really see a game in which he doesn't, especially if we're
mhm,
playing a four back. We need dynamic attackers, and that's what we get with Celio. That's
mhm.
not necessarily what we get with Toykert, with Klaus, with Hartle, with even Zande Silva. I think with what I still want to see some more from Zande. I think
Mm,
a lot of people were expecting him to be a lot pacier, a lot more just attacking. And
maybe Celio like would
yeah,
be a good way to put it.
Celio like just on the other side. What I will say is, I think with Olaf, he was utilizing Zonde wrong. He was using Zonde like deep lying midfielder a lot, which was interesting. We got to see his, composure on the ball, his, you know, uh, dribbling skills, but I want to see him much higher up the pitch. And this week was another kind of poor week for Zonde. So, it hasn't exactly clicked yet, but I've liked some things that I've seen. So, you know, we're gonna keep rocking. So we'll see who
Well
gets
said,
that right
Grayson.
wing
Well said.
side.
To answer my own question, I agree. I completely agree with you, Grayson. I think that Celio should be in the starting 11. The reason I asked the question is because, like you mentioned, our offensive production has been low this season, and I think that while the numbers are not in our favor, getting to watch Celio is an exciting part of St. Louis City soccer. And while I am in favor of tweaking parts of the attack to try and find more goals and more production for our attack. I think that one constant in the starting lineup will be Celio Pompeo as well. I completely agree. Just to round out the lineup, Grayson, we did see Joey Zielinski come in for Thomas Totland, which I really liked. He slid in there effortlessly. Jacob Reich would come on for Alfredo Morales in the second half. Brendan McSorley would come on for Joao Klaus in the second half. He got a pretty good run out there as well. Shande Silva for Celio Pompeu and Thomas Ostrak for Simon Betcher.
Yeah. I'm still, struggling to see why our coaches do not see what we see in Ostrich. Maybe it's some things that we're not seeing on the training pitch,
Mm.
but I don't know. I've been very impressed with Ostrich this season, and to get the amount of minutes he has with either coach we've had this season, I just don't like it. I want some more Ostrich.
I think I would take an order of Thomas Ostrak as well, Grayson. I would like to see him getting a little bit more clock. And I think that he offers a completely different attacking profile than Alfredo Morales. While the two do offer, I believe, a similar range on the field from a box to box standpoint, I believe that Thomas Ostrak has demonstrated a better ability on the ball and, in my opinion, a better passing range, which I don't rate Alfredo's too highly. So personally, I agree, Grayson. I hope that we see Thomas Ostrak start against the LA Galaxy next week, and
Unless we can have Leuven back and Durkin. In that case,
we'll take number 10 and number 8,
whatever,
please.
whatever.
Well, Grayson,
Uh,
let's get into breaking this match down, shall we?
yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. I'm gonna kick it off. So, like Ethan mentioned earlier, the beginning of this match was feeling very optimistic from the St. Louis City standpoint. We came out hot, we came out creating chances, albeit missing chances, but creating chances. And I want to specifically go to the 26th minute. Yes, where I did mention that we were having some success with our high press in the final third. This one is a giveaway with Portland trying to play out of the back. I can't remember who gives it away, if it is Pantemis, the goalkeeper, or if it is Miller, their center
Pantemis
back.
saves it, and then Portland doesn't really recover possession. Thomas Totland puts in a good tackle.
Yeah, they basically they give up the ball. It falls to Klaus. Klaus gets the first shot and hits it directly at the keeper. The rebound falls to Akil Watts, who hits it directly at the keeper. The rebound of that falls to Marcel Hartel, who hits it wide.
Dude, dude, maybe the most heart wrenching sequence of St. Louis City SC soccer this season.
Yeah, just absolutely brutal. All three of these chances, just surprising how terrible these takes are. These are professional players. Have you ever heard pick a corner? We ever heard that before? We ever heard that before?
Brother, it was tough to see, especially when a player like João Klaus is we are demanding goals at this point. His record as far as goal scoring has not been great league wide. It's not been great for St. Louis City, and the summer transfer window is not far away. It's not hard to look at that and say, okay, what else is out there?
Yeah. And it, as much as it pains me to say, it's getting more and more likely.
It does
But
pain us to
yeah,
say we love Klaus. He's one of our favorite players, and his personality on the field is fun to watch. But not seeing him hit the back of the net is much less fun to watch.
pain. Well, we would finally benefit from our attack later on in the match. This would come in the 50th minute, shortly after halftime. Some more City high pressure football. We get a shot from, I believe, Marcel Hartel, and it gets deflected out wide. Thomas Totland battles for it, wins it, plays a ball in. Simon Betcher does well to hold his defender off, plays it with his chest. It gets too far from him. Luckily, Akil Watts is there to scoop it up and slot it to the bottom right, picking a corner and finding the corner to beat the keeper. That's 1-0 St. Louis City, and God, it felt good to finally break that deadlock. But it seemed like right after we did it, we just gave up with the match.
Since we're in the moment, I'm going to focus on the positive here, Grayson. Congrats to Akil Watts on scoring his first MLS goal. That was awesome to see. And it
That's
felt like a
wild.
moment in the match that we didn't give up. It felt like there's so many times this season that St. Louis City has seen the ball not hit the back of the net, and our shoulders just slump. We are our running isn't as hard. It seems like we don't close out tackles, and so to see this ball actually hit the back of the net and the chance finished was a wave of relief. It felt like, all right, now the duck is broken and we can get on our way.
Yeah, I just I I sadly feel like St. Louis has tried so hard to get a goal that once we do get that goal, we just that's everything. We put everything into that one goal. It's painful. So that would clear up my chance. Ethan, what you got for the rest of this match?
Well, dude, I was so excited going into halftime. I was like, all right, the boys got a fresh rest in pretty hot Portland. I think they said it was like a record-setting heat day in the city that day. It looked hot out there. I thought players looked tired in the first half, so I was expecting St. Louis City's style of play to really benefit us in the second half. What I think we saw, however, was Portland adjust and hold more of the ball, and they brought their style to us much more in the second half, as well as getting their marquee players involved in dangerous areas. The first Portland goal would come from a worldie, if you ask me, from Anthony, their winger, and Thomas Totland just steps a little bit late. Anthony flicks it over his head off. I don't know if he meant it. It could have been a bad touch, but he makes a bust out of it, flicks it over Thomas Totland's head, dribbles at speed at Henry Kessler, gets inside the box. Pretty poor defending on this goal all around, and just sticks it in the top corner like nothing. One of those, he made it look like Luis Suarez against PSG back in the day. Brutal goal to concede, 1-0 or 1-all at this point. It felt like 1-0 though. That goal made it feel like 1-0 to me. It felt like all of a sudden we are losing this game after a fantastic showing in the first half. Now, Roman Berkey would make some pretty good saves in the second half, but it unfortunately would not be enough because in the 90th minute, added time, Grayson, it's 90 plus one is when the goal is marked down. David Ashala would get free on a corner kick. I say get free. He was free on a corner kick and just puts it away on the volley. 2-1 Portland. I we didn't stand a chance after that. Another set piece goal conceded, another very late goal conceded. Normally we look at the period of the last 15 minutes in the game, and I know it wasn't added time, but I'm looking at this as another last minute blunder from St. Louis City, unable to close out a game, and we leave Portland empty-handed. That would do it for St. Louis City. Portland are feeling good. They have another comeback win on the season. St. Louis City once again go to the Pacific Northwest and give up a lead. This is it was a tough watching the match highlights back was really difficult. Watching the second half was really difficult. And I mean, the new manager bump has certainly worn off now.
Yeah, I expected it to last more than one match, but yeah, sadly, St. Louis just wants to lose, just wants to. This
And
one, this one really hurt my feelings.
same. It because we have a new manager now, so we thought that the mentality would change. And I think that there were periods of the game which we saw a different mentality from St. Louis City. But once again, subs come on in the second half and the quality drops, the level drops, the cohesion is clearly not there. What I saw on this David Ashala goal, Grayson, was a completely unmarked David Ashala, one of Portland's best players, very creative player, and pulls the strings very truly on their team.
Mm. Uh-oh.
He's completely free. And so seeing it again was just like you said, hurtful, man. It sucks, and we expect better from the St. Louis City team.
I remember hearing an interview that one of the players was saying that they defend in a zone defense. I don't know if they play zone when it comes to corner kicks, but if that's the case, we need to change it up and mark the man and just stay with
I
your
mean,
man.
okay. I'm I'm not a coach. I'm not a professional player. I'm not in a position to tell these players what they shouldn't be doing on corner kicks. But
I'm changing. I am. I'm telling them what to
you
do.
are you're
I'm
qualified.
telling them what to do,
No, man. Yeah, you're right.
qualified
Because
or not.
I've at least played in a damn soccer game, so I know to put in a challenge on a corner kick, especially if you're the person close to the ball. So for us to go down in this manner is what's so frustrating because it's like I said, another late goal, another set piece goal. We had Timo Baumgartel on the field. Henry Kessler's on the field. Our best defenders on the field. We should be winning that header every time.
Yeah, for me, when it came out with this lineup, the defense was my favorite part. The defense is very strong. Very excited about this. But for me, I don't think the defense lost this game. I think it's the offense that lost us this match. Um, and that does lead me
You're
into
right.
my point, if we want to get into the points here.
Please do, sir.
So name of the game here is obviously missed chances. Once again, the inevitable bites us in the ass. Credit to Critch for turning around this team from an uber defensive lineup to being able to play a four back with decent confidence. But although we had our strongest back four starting today, this seemed to be one of Henry Kessler's worst matches in a St. Louis City kit. He didn't seem to be fully confident for this match, and especially for that goal, wasn't confident enough to step to his man in the 1v1 situation, just kept backing up, giving him
Mm.
enough time to get the shot off. But yeah, I don't want to harp on the defense because they are not the reason we lost in this one. Not when you have seven big chances to put the ball in the back of the net. Every time they replayed that same moment with the three missed chances, they replayed that over and over and over again in that match,
Rightfully
and
so.
it made me want to cry every single time. Uh, Klaus had a free volley in the box that he sent over the top. Betcher had two missed chances, I think, where he just sent them wide. He found the center of the goal to right into the goalkeeper's hands a couple of times as well. So at some point, I do think we do need to point some fingers. I'm pointing it at a couple of players, but mostly I'm pointing it at the ethos of this club because this is the same issue we saw last season and the season before. Inability to close out games, to win games that you are winning. This is another 3 points dropped from a winning position.
Mm.
And I was genuinely hoping it would be any sort of manager change that would come in and wake these boys up. And to some part, it has welcomed them up, but the same old city cannot hold out these matches. So here we are. What's the next step? We have a caretaker manager, Critchley. I think he's done a great job so far, and I think he is, setting great groundwork for whoever, if he, somehow gets this full-time position, um, or whoever does fill in. I think will have the great stepping stones. But honestly, the it's on Lutz now. For me, it's what are you going to do in this offseason? Because
Mm.
right now it's clear that we are not the team that we say that we are. So let's become that team. Put your money where your mouth is.
All right, Grayson. Very pointed. And I don't think I blame you at all. We're halfway through the season where the ownership pretty much guaranteed us playoffs, and we are nowhere near that at the moment. We are nearly as far away from that as we can be. And I agree with you in the sense that I think that our attack lost this game despite the defensive lapses that we had. Once again, Roman Berkey still with a standout performance, made incredible saves that really kept us alive, that kept us with a chance to, okay, we conceded a goal. How can we pick ourselves back up and secure a victory from that position? Yeah. So for me, I'm still looking at the players on the field because I am of the opinion that Lutz himself isn't winning and losing us games. But I do I'm starting to see the other side more openly, Grayson, because I agree with you. The players need to produce, and so let's see what comes in the summer transfer window. Let's because there's still time in our season to make a run for the playoffs. I know it looks ugly right now. I don't think we're unreasonably. It's not impossible.
It's
Okay,
not impossible, but
it
we're
is
getting
unreasonable. It's not impossible.
we're getting to that same stage we were at the end of Carnell's era, where we're like, yo, we're gonna get to that point where we're like, yeah, we have 5 games to try and get to playoffs. We're gonna get there, and I don't know. I don't like this feeling. I don't want to do this again
Me
because
either, Grayson.
we're about
Look,
to. It's just gonna be
right
a repeat
now,
of last season.
right now we're 8 points off of a playoff position, and we have half a season remaining. So yeah, the mountain looks pretty daunting right now. I'm not willing to say how we will end up on said mountain. With
We'll
that
see.
being said, I'm gonna get into my point this week because, like you, Grayson, I want to harp more on the finishing. 7 big chances missed and 1 goal to show for it in a season where we are desperate for goals to begin with is not enough. Currently, St. Louis City's goal difference is on -9, which okay doesn't necessarily tell the story of a bad team. It doesn't tell the story of a good team. I will admit, but we have 23 goals against, which isn't super unreasonable. We only have 14 goals for. This is the lowest in the Western Conference, Grayson. We scored the lowest amount of goals in the Western Conference. Mind you, we're in the same conference as Austin. Oh, okay, I actually did get that wrong. They scored 1 less goal than us. So the only attack struggling worse than us is Austin, which is not something to brag about. All I want to see from this team is more goals. I want to see us completely rout LA with a big time performance. I think a lot of people on the team need to see the ball hit the back of the net. I think Simon Betcher needs to see the ball hit the back of the net. At this point, I think Celio Pompeu needs to see the ball hit the back of the net. I think Marcel Hartel needs to see the ball hit the back of the net. And I think worst of the bunch, John De Silva needs to hit the ball, see the ball hit the back of the net. I rate his quality on the field. You can tell that he is such a good player. He had a chance to lay it off to Brandon McSorley, though, in this Portland Timbers game late on to give us maybe our best chance at going ahead. I can't remember if that would have leveled or gone ahead at that point. Either way, he makes the wrong call, takes a pretty poor effort on goal, and the
It's yeah.
frustrations for our attack continues.
Gets clowned on the internet madly for one play. I honestly feel bad for the guy.
So that's really all I have to say. I don't want to harp too much on it because I think everyone in the club and as a fan is pretty frustrated about the finishing. But man, something has to change. Something has got to change on that front in St. Louis City.
You'd think, no, you know what? That's probably the problem. The problem is they're facing Roman Berkey in practice, so they don't know what it's like to score goals in practice.
They're just wondering. I will say to St. Louis City's credit in this game, I thought that our high press style created a lot more opportunities for us high up on the field that did lead to these shots and these
Hmm.
chances. I think if we were a team scoring more goals than like 3 or 4 goals a game, then we wouldn't be too upset about 7 or 8 big chances missed because we would have other chances that did fall for us. So scoring goals will solve so many of St. Louis City's problems. I don't care if they come from a center back. I don't care if they come from a right back like Joey Zielinski. I don't care where they come from. Ideally, they come from the strikers that we pay a lot of money to score those goals.
That'd be cool.
That would be nice. We will see. We will see where it comes from. That's all I got for my point on this Portland Timbers match, Gray.
Oh.
Do you have any other final thoughts on this game before we get into kick clash?
Not really. I think just Portland are a very good side. So for us to, have as good of a first half as we did, to have as many chances created, that's something positive that we can take away is that we did put up a fight against a very good team and they had to come and take the win from us. But they did take the win from us. So, you know, whatever.
An example of what a top team in the MLS is capable of so far this season, I would say. And look, Portland have had their struggles so far this season, but they made adjustments to St. Louis City that completely changed the game in the second half and just killed us. It's not like James Pantemis had the craziest game he's ever had against us. All right. I think what happened is Anthony took control of the game and let his mark be felt. I also thought that they made dangerous substitutions in the game that kept their momentum going to get them over the line. So Diego Chara comes on in the second half. Felipe Mora comes on in the second half. I thought Paredes made an impact in the game as well. I don't think that St. Louis City made similar changes. I think that we made changes to try and keep our head above water, and it was too little, too late. After Klaus came out of the game, it seemed like our attacking, what's the word I'm looking for? Our attacking life just drained out of the team. We lost all sense of control in the attacking half of the field, and we're we're under pressure for a good half hour. I'm surprised Portland didn't crack us sooner.
Yeah, that's going to be a problem for St. Louis City trying to figure out, you know, if we're going to replace João Klaus, we need to obviously get goals, but we also rely on João Klaus's creativity and hold up play so much. I have not seen St. Louis do better when Klaus comes off the pitch or isn't starting. I have yet to see a better St. Louis City side than with him off the field. So that'll be an interesting one to see, how exactly we can remedy that going forward because there's not too many options at the moment.
Well,
Uh,
Grayson, you ready to talk about a battle that I think St. Louis City might win this game?
ooh, it's a hard one, but it is time for bing,
Ding
bing,
ding.
bing, bing, bing. It's Kick Clash time, yo. We've got the Portland Timbers home kit. This one's pretty slick, not gonna lie. I am a fan. This is one of my favorites that I saw during the MLS shoot, specifically because of the texture. This
Mm.
is a really, really good feeling kit, and it's kind of hard to tell when you're looking at it. For St. Louis City fans who complain about not being able to see the stripes, it's even harder to see the wooden rings on this kit that actually have the amount of rings for the time the club has been alive. So it is pretty cool for that little note. So I actually rate this kit a lot. I might edit that out. uh, I'm gonna give this kit a 9.
Dude, I personally love a green kit. I also personally think that Portland does it right when it comes to when it comes to jerseys, and once again they've done it. For them to be the Portland Timbers and for them to include the rings on the inside of a tree for how many years they've been a club,
Chef's kiss.
it's good stuff. They got a great badge. You know, green and yellow. Is it yellow? Is it gold? What
I
would you
think
call that?
it's gold on the kit specifically, but they do use yellow a lot in a bunch of other things. And I usually would say like yellow and green is kind of gross. Like I actually really don't like Norwich. Like
Same.
I don't like their colors. Like that hurts my eyes. But the I'm seeing an old Portland kit here that's quite yellow, and I'm kind of rocking with it. They have a good colorway. It is more of like a mustardy, like golden yellow, so it adds a little bit more depth to it than just like a highlighter yellow and a lime green that just looks like
Yeah.
poop.
That's the perfect way to describe those colors as well. Yeah, I'm gonna go for an 8.2 on this kit. I think the Portland Timbers badge is fantastic as well as the colors. Yeah, the full green is like almost tough, but I agree. I think they did it right.
Boom. There you have it.
Don't forget to
Guys,
leave your Kit Clash ratings in the
yeah,
comments.
please do. Please do. Well, that wraps up that. So let's get into the final segment of the day. We've got our match preview against my former favorite MLS team, the LA Galaxy, who I might add, St. Louis City are currently undefeated against.
Never
We,
lost.
yeah, we have not lost to them. Uh, and St. Louis City, LA Galaxy have actually just won their first match of the season. Congratulations. Good job, guys. They beat RSL 2 to
Hmm.
0 after, finally, finally. That's just embarrassing. Honestly, I remember earlier this season when we were talking about this run up to the LA Galaxy game. And I was really hoping that LA Galaxy would win one game before this, just so we wouldn't be their first win of the season.
It's fortunate that we're not, right? Because we don't have that they don't have that same chip on their shoulder. Of We can safely assume that they're coming into the game wanting to win. I don't know if a team has ever, in soccer at least, there's no reason to tank for the draft in this sport. So I don't think a team has ever come in expecting to lose or wanting to lose. But right now, I think if you're St. Louis City, there is not an opponent on the calendar you would want to play more than the LA Galaxy. Like you said, Grayson, they did just bag their first win against RSL. Doesn't change much as far as I'm concerned about the LA Galaxy. It doesn't make them a super dangerous side as far as I'm concerned. Right now, what I see with the LA Galaxy is a team still searching for its identity, a team still searching for cohesion, a team that has no chemistry on the field whatsoever. They have all the quality in the MLS. They have the potential to have at least 2 to 3, maybe even 4 MLS All Stars on their team. That's maybe crazy. That's reaching. I know. At least two, though. I think Gabriel Peck and Joseph Paintsil could, on their
Yeah, I
on a
guess.
good season, probably walk into an MLS All Star team. Absolutely not this season, but either way, those two players are amazing, and I think most would want them on their team. I digress, though. The LA Galaxy are a team very, very much struggling this season, Grayson. I don't think that's news to anybody. I do think that they've at least remedied some of their goalkeeping issues since the last time we played. I think they have Mitrovic starting in goal now. And from what I've seen, he looks like he's performing at least more confidently. The goalkeeper position is a tough one like that when you're not playing with high confidence and you don't back yourself above anyone, then you're going to leak goals.
Yeah, they were definitely having a rough start to the season, and I am looking at the MLS stats right here, and they really sit in the bottom for just about every metric in the league, except for possession, uh, accurate passes per match, corner kicks, and penalty conceded. They've conceded 8 penalties this season. Their
Wow.
defensive discipline has been terrible. Uh, and yeah, see, St. Louis City really is the perfect bogey team for LA Galaxy because they are last in every metric besides possession, and that's the metric that we don't want. We don't want possession.
Mm-hmm.
Although we're improving at it,
Wouldn't care.
we truly love to let you sit in the back with your ill-disciplined center backs. We'll steal the ball, you'll foul us, We'll score a free kick. You get a red card. We win the game. 6-0. See ya, LA. That's how it's
Yeah,
gonna go.
Grayson, here's the thing, man. Maya Yoshida has been a fantastic MLS
So
center back
good.
on
So
his
good.
career. This season, though, oh boy, it's good to see him in the starting lineup when you're the other team. Okay,
Yeah.
I am very glad that coming off the back of another loss where from a winning position we get to play the LA Galaxy because our team is struggling so much to score goals. We're lacking offensive production. I believe in this game we will see less of the ball than we did against Portland. I think that LA is going to relish that possession that they have and try and create from it. I think that where St. Louis City will thrive is going to be hitting on the counterattack in this game. I believe that we have more speed in our attack than they have in their defense. And I think that our attack has a what's the word I'm looking for here? A winning mentality, for lack of a better word. The LA Galaxy's defense, when you watch them, look heartbroken. They look sad, and who can blame them? They are not performing well at all this season. The LA Galaxy are a team very low in confidence, and I hope that St. Louis City can take this opportunity as a game to keep them on the right course. It nearly was the San Jose game, and it nearly was the Portland game to keep us on track, but we have got to continue getting results and seeing the ball hit the back of the net if we want any chance of making the playoffs this season. But I'm feeling good against the LA Galaxy, Grayson. I'm going to go for I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna say a 4-1 victory here. I don't think we keep a clean sheet
Whoa.
because our defense has been leaking goals ourselves. But yes, indeed, Grayson. I think that the LA Galaxy will provide one of their own for us. But I'm gonna go out and say that Celio Pompey will score a goal for St. Louis City this week. He is overdue for a goal.
I really like that scoreline. I want that to happen. I do think the most seen scoreline in the MLS this season is the dreaded 2-1.
Mm.
So I'm gonna go with the 2-1 victory. St. Louis City, we're gonna get another victory against LA Galaxy. They hate us. Uh, I think my goal scorer is going to be. It is going to be. I believe it's going to be Conrad Vallum. He's going to be back from suspension. He got a red card last match,
What?
but he is most definitely not playing defense. I'll tell you
What?
that. I'll tell you he's not playing defense. He's probably going to be in the midfield, and he's going to get a goal. He's going to get a goal.
You're definitely right about two things there, Grayson. One, he's going to be back. Two, he's not going to be in the defense. I hope I'm wrong. I hope that Conrad Vollum scores a goal. I would love to see him
It's going to
at the
happen.
back of the net.
If
If
Akil Watts can score,
it feels
then
like
this
Conrad
man can
Vollum
score.
is the kind of player that if he scores one, he could get five. He could just go on a hot run of form here.
I could say that Conrad Vallum could get 5 goals this season. That would be, I would love that. I'd be fine with that. 5 goals. That's all I want. All right, so that just about wraps up the episode here. While we're on the topic of LA, we do want to send out our well wishes to all our protesters out there in LA protesting ICE. Please be safe. Continue to let your voices be heard. We try to be very transparent about what we believe in here on City Boys. So, please stay safe. We see you, LA. So yeah, that just about wraps up the episode here. Any final notes from you, or
No, I don't know what happened on my end, dude. My end decided that I am done recording for the night, so go ahead and rip the outro, brother.
Okay, cool, cool. So thanks for watching here this week, following us on the City Boys. Please continue to watch. If you're with us on YouTube, please like, comment, subscribe, throw your Kick Clash rating down below, what your prediction is for next week. If you're listening on Spotify, hit us with a 5-star review if you like us. Even if you don't, 5 stars means bad, so give us 5 stars. Throw us on a playlist so that you hear a good song and then your Spotify DJ plays the City Boys. What's up? Uh, but last but not least, please do not forget to tell your mother you love her. Father's Day's coming up. Dad, I love you too, my boy. All right. Peace. STL, STL, STL.